Asthmatic Ray, and Ray asks, how are some ways to make an offer more appealing or a greater chance of being accepted? Well, offer a higher price. That's the easy one. Other than offering a price that's higher, what really quickly, let's go around. Let's go clockwise. Heidi, Scott, and Dylan. Heidi, what's one thing you would say to make your offer more appealing other than price?
Well, I think understanding what the seller's looking for and what's important to the seller. There's lots of things that can be negotiated in a contract other than price. I mean, just a few are closing date. I mean, there's just so many. They're all
Right.
toolbox. There's
So
non-refundable.
know the seller. Basically, what you're saying is, this comes down to having. This implies a relationship, meaning having working with a good realtor who's got a relationship that can talk to the seller's realtor and kind of find, hey, what's the deal? Scott, do you have an example of what you can do to make an offer more appealing?
I do. Last week I gave away a free tip, right, with the Ginsu knives, and this one I'm calling these
but
my
you had to order,
jackrabbit.
but you had to order by midnight tonight. So go ahead.
You do, and you'll have to on this one as well. I call these my jackrabbit tips. I think I sent all you guys that video, the two jackrabbits fighting, and that's basically every realtor trying to get their buyer's offer accepted. So my jackrabbit tip for the day is if you're able to say that you're going to make up the difference if the property doesn't appraise at the purchase price, that's going to be a significant benefit for you in negotiation. And why I like VA loans is because, yes, you can do 100% financing. There's a VA clause in the VA addendum that says if it doesn't appraise, then the buyer at the purchase price, the buyer can cancel. And I'm writing language in that more or less says buyer is exercising their right, their option to be able to bring in that difference and will up to a certain amount or any point. And I had it on the 1.525 million transaction. We were only doing a $500,000 loan. It was a VA loan. They could go to 100% if they wanted. We had coverage on that appraisal shortage for almost $1 million. And so therefore we were able to get into first position.
Jackrabbit
tip for the day.
Jackrabbit tip with the Ginsu knives, but you're got to order by midnight tonight. Dylan, what's your? Oh, by the way, so Troy kind of jumps in. Show us fantastic. I'm so glad you feel that way, Troy. I've got fantastic people. Heidi's fantastic, Scott's fantastic, and Dylan's is fantastic. Dylan, give us the fantastic tip.
So I have a whole 5-minute video on this on my YouTube channel. I just did a couple weeks ago, but a couple of quick tips. First one is consider writing a buyer's letter. So I had a condo that I put on the market last week, got 3 over asking price cash offers, and the one that had the most compelling buyer letter is the one that won. So it doesn't work in every case, but it's worth doing. Maybe a couple of cute pictures of you and your family, or what you're explaining how this is your dream, and try and appeal to the seller's emotions to get a competitive edge if all things are created equal. And then the other one is, we keep talking about working with a good realtor, but I have one of my agents had a listing and got multiple offers, and one of the better offers was a total mess. There was just stuff not checked in the contract. It was just a messy contract. And so if you're looking at 2 contracts as a realtor and you're advising your client, and you got to write a counter that you have to fix 15 things inside of the contract because it's just messy and sloppy, that's going to put you at a disadvantage if you're using a realtor that doesn't know what they're doing and doesn't know how to write a contract. So that's a big piece of it. And then also having that relationship, because listing agents are also advising clients. And if there's 3 or 4 different agents they have to choose from, they are going to be biased towards the agent that they want to work with, that they know does a good job, that brings qualified buyers, that is going to do their part of the transaction, help solve problems, all of those types of things. So those are little intangible things that you can do in order to be more competitive.
And Judy, who says, I've already learned this week to listen to your realtor when making the offer. It's not all about throwing a bunch of money out there. And Dylan, Judy's working with you folks. And Judy, aren't you glad you're working with Dylan? That's kind of what it's all about. So go ahead, Dylan.
And an important thing for me too is I've been losing out on a lot of offers lately, and it's frustrating. But then when I see them close, and I can go back to my client and say, I wouldn't even let you pay that much for that house, because that's insane. You cannot pay $800,000 for a house that's in a $600,000 neighborhood, right? I mean, to me, it's malpractice that realtors are doing that. But that's one of the things where, you can maybe disappointed if you don't actually win that competitive bidding situation, but you can feel better that it was a good financial decision at the end of the day, because that's happened a lot lately. As you're seeing properties close in areas, whether they're sight unseen or the buyers are not familiar with the market and their realtor's not advising them properly and letting them overpay when they really shouldn't be, and they're going to regret that in the future. So.
And Judy agrees. There you go, man. That says it all right there. Thanks, Judy. Thank you for that confirmation.